So you're in sixth grade, you're watching this, man, you're playing rec basketball and moving into seventh grade. Socially, like, again, how are you as a kid in the school? Are you socially awkward? Are you quiet? Are you outgoing? Are you one of the class clowns? What type of kid is Nick in middle school?
I was like quiet. Yeah, I didn't talk. Like once I got to probably like middle school-ish, like it's like school like stopped for me. Like I didn't talk in class. Like I never raised my hand.
Mhm.
I was a kid who just sat there, did his work, and just kept it pushing.
Kept it pushing.
Yeah, I've had the same friends since I was in elementary school. So it was like if it was outside of them, I probably wasn't like messing with anybody. But yeah, I was just super quiet in school.
The reason why I asked that is because, like I said, you're in sixth, seventh grade, you're going through that. But you said in eighth grade, when you started to play, I'm guessing you played in eighth grade too as well, right?
Yeah.
So you played, and what made you want to try out for the team, or was like I said, you just wanted to fall in line with what your brother did and wanted to be better than what he did?
That's all it was.
That's pretty cool, man.
That's all it was.
That's pretty cool because sometimes that's what gets people to the next level, which we'll get to later. But how would you categorize that eighth grade year playing?
I had a great time.
First and foremost, like, I hope you know you were lucky because in Anne Arundel County, we didn't have that.
Really?
Like, all we had was intramural within our school.
Y'all didn't have basketball teams?
No.
Really?
Y'all had it. My cousins down in Calvert County had middle school teams too. We didn't have that.
I didn't know that.
Like, all we got to do was either play county or, and I didn't even know it, or really didn't have knowledge at the time, or AAU, which no AAU team was around our way except for Savannah Park.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah, no middle school teams.
That's trash.
So what schools did you guys play when you were middle school? Do you remember?
So we played like Golden Ring, the Baltimore team. We played Southwest Academy. I think we played Pikesville, Dundalk, Sparrows Point, and a few other schools. But like mostly in like Baltimore County schools.
Baltimore County.
Yeah.
That's considered Baltimore County, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's cool. But how would you categorize that year? You said you had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I loved it because again, all my friends on the same team. It was like that was my first time playing outside of like rec. So it was like actually, like I said, playing against kids I didn't know. Like actually being coached was like something that was new to me. It's coming from like rec, and yeah, it was fun. It was like, and I started like kind of stepped into my own. Like I realized like, oh, I'm a pretty decent basketball player. Like I think I'm better than the average. So that was pretty cool for me.
But baseball, man. What about baseball?
Still a baseball player.
Still a baseball
player through and through.
But you started to like basketball a little bit more at this time.
Yeah, that's where it started kind of coming.
Did you have baseball? There was baseball teams in middle school too?
We didn't have a baseball team. No.
Just basketball.
Just basketball.
No, it wasn't football teams either, was it?
So the only football, no, not for middle school. They had the Arbutus rec football team.
Right.
That was it, yeah.
Okay, man, that's cool. That's dope, man. I can't believe we never had that. Y'all got to experience that. I would have been getting mine on another level.
I'm sure you would.
I'm
sure.
Oh my God, it was all and one in the eighth grade for me.
I can't imagine.
All and one.
I cannot imagine.
I didn't even shoot. I didn't even shoot the ball.
Really?
All I wanted to do was shake you. That's it. Cross, throw it around your neck. Then throw it clean with shirt off.
Pretty similar.
All and one. That's it. So you get to play your last year before high school, and you play that eighth grade year of basketball. You're playing travel baseball. A lot of people don't really understand the landscape around here is when you're in seventh, eighth grade, private schools start recruiting. Was there ever a moment for either sport or for anything where a private school came to holler at you, or was it ever a point where you wanted to go to a different school? Because I'm assuming you went to what high school? Lansdown High School. Was there ever a point where you wanted to go before this? Because was there even a thought of going to any of the situations? Like, did your brother go to Lansdown too, or? Okay, so did you ever think about private school coming in, or was anybody recruiting you coming in to ninth grade, or?
So a lot of my brother's friends went to Gibbons, so that was like the place where I like always wanted to go.
Yeah.
But Gibbons it costs money.
Yeah.
So I knew my parents didn't have it. Like that was never an option. And then as like recruiting wise, like I was good at baseball, but it wasn't like I wasn't like standing out to where it was like, oh, we need this kid. So I never got recruited for anything like that. But like Gibbons was somewhere where I wanted to go, but again, I knew financially it wasn't gonna happen with my family. So,
what were you expecting going into high school as a student first, and then from the athletic perspective after that?
So again, like I had my older brother, like he was in Lansdown already, so I kind of knew I knew what was happening. Like I've been to the gym, I've been to the games, so I kind of knew a little bit about it. And he would always tell me things like, you know, older brother trying to scare you, just stuff like that. But I kind of knew, like, I knew it wasn't like a tough school academically, so I wasn't really planning on having a struggle there. And then I knew what the sports was, so I was just going in there. Basically, I had more knowledge than the normal ninth grader would have.
Way more mature.
Yeah, since I had a brother, so I was cool.
That's the cheat code. Having the older cat that you can hang with. That's in high school as a youngster. It's the cheat code. And at that time, you in the 9th, he's in the 11th. So he's laid the foundation for you already before you even came, and it makes it easy. So
me and my brother look similar too. So I walk into school and immediately Lil Patton.
Yeah, Lil Patton.
Every Lil Patton. That's what I was called probably my whole freshman year. So
okay. So 9th grade. I mean, as a student, you didn't really struggle as a student, I'm assuming, because I've never seen it in person. I don't want to make it personal, but you just don't struggle at too much of anything.
That school was pretty easy for me.
Okay, so sports comes. Football, you play any football? You know, that's the first.
Never touched football, and I wish I would have, but my mom never wanted me to play.
Oh, you probably would have been nice too. You got that quick twitch.
I wish, but no, my mom didn't want me to play. My dad never wanted me to play, so it was just not what happened.
Yeah, I didn't want me to play when I got to high school.
Yeah,
it was over.
Did you play football?
Yeah, I played all throughout. Like rec ball was undefeated our last year.
Really?
Me and Trey on his team finally played with him. Man, that was one of the craziest teammates I ever had in my life.
Y'all two on the football field.
Nah, he's terrible. Like,
really?
That's his sport. That was what he did. So it's not like basketball when I get to be me.
Yeah.
That's his sport, and imagine how he is. So any mistakes, you get invited.
Oh, I believe it.
Anything, you get invited. Like, do you want to come see me after the game? Do you want to right here? That's just how it was. He loved it so. But I mean, football just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
I never really was. I mean, I was okay, I was decent, but it just never was for me. So in high school, that was dead, and my mom wasn't tripping either. So, second season is the winter season, and that's when basketball comes around. Coming into tryouts, were you nervous? What were your thoughts coming into tryouts? Did you just know it was going to be?
I was scared as hell.
You were scared to go to tryouts?
Scared as all hell.
Damn.
Terrible.
Because at this time, you really, like you said, you really just tapping into the game of basketball, right? So it's not something that's just like second nature for you. You just really going and really trying out, and you really got nervous about it.
I was terrified.
So how'd it go?
I mean, from what I remember, I just remember a lot of running because it's like JV and varsity trial together. So it was we just ran. And my JV coach was he was the drills like the JRTC,
JROTC.
Something, yeah. He was that was him, and he was like this big military guy, but he was like a basketball player.
Right. So
he was hard, like he was tough on us.
Right.
And I was terrified of tryouts. Terrified. Don't remember anything but running. That's all I can remember.
But you wound up making the team.
Made the team.
JV.
JV.
So freshman year, you come in, you play at JV. Your brother's playing varsity at this time.
Yeah.
And I mean, kind of talk about that. Talk about going through that time and getting through them trials and being nervous, but then making a team. How you felt after making a team, and then the beginning of the season. How did you kind of navigate through that time?
I mean, I was happy I made the team because that was the first time I had to like really try out for something to make it. So that was like, and it was kind of like, I wouldn't say it was uncertain because once you get in the tryouts, you kind of measure yourself up against people. So I was like, all right, I think I'm better than some of these kids. So I was like, all right, I made the team, and then the season, that's where I met Brent Arrington. Okay. So he was on my JV team.
Wow.
And he was like just head and shoulders above me basketball wise. So he was somebody who I was like, I thought I was good, and then I see him and it's like, okay, back to reality. It's like, you're not that good. So he helped me a lot during those times. And probably it's not something that was said, it was just me watching him and seeing how good he was and how he developed. And it was like, all right, so it's a whole different level to this thing that I haven't even seen yet.
And he got in the same grade?
No, he's a year older. So
he was a sophomore.
He was a sophomore, yeah.
That's a good look though. Shout out to Brent too, because
my God,
I can imagine seeing him in high school.
Yeah.
Started on JV, played every game.
Every game.
What was the first time that you felt like you was comfortable and you was ready to go once you started playing in the games? Do you remember the specific moment?
I couldn't tell
Or
you.
it was just a blur and he was just getting yours?
JV, to be honest, I don't really remember much.
Don't
JV.
really remember?
But I remember we played like a Newtown game, and like Newtown was good, so
Right.
they had like all these like pretty good players, like, and everybody was just like, I was super skinny, I was super small, and everybody just I seen was like physically bigger than me,
Right.
and that was like an eye opener. I was like, dang, it was just hard for me to compete at that point.
Yeah,
So I was
right.
just, I feel like I knew the game better than a lot of kids, so I feel like that's how I navigated the best.
Do you think it was the competitive drive that kept you going? Like, because you
For
repeated it so many times over and over. And I feel like
1000%.
that was your mantra at the time, just compete.
1000%. Yeah, I was like growing up, I was like hyper competitive. Like
okay.
it was like if I lost in anything, it was tears. Like I was crying.
Me too.
Yeah, so it was bad. Like bowling, cried.
Terrible.
Games, board games, cried.
Video games.
Cried.
Real games and all.
Everything. Cried about everything. It was to the point where, like, if you had to take me home after a loss, silent car rides. Nobody would talk to me just because I was terribly upset.
Yeah.
So yeah, that definitely motivated me as like a JV basketball player.
Okay.
For sure.
And that's pretty much. And did you play JV both years, 9th grade and 10th grade?
No, 10th grade I moved to varsity.
All right, let's move back a little bit then. So was there any time that, from a basketball sense, I'm gonna get to baseball in a minute, that you wanted to quit during those times? Do you remember any time that you wanted to quit?
Nah, I never wanted to quit.
Never wanted to quit, no matter what was going on, all the running.
I mean, my parents would never let me quit anything. Like, my mom always said, if you started, you finished it. So quitting was never even a thought. But, I mean, just even thinking back on it, maybe there was one moment, I think we played like Owens Mills, and it was like a bad first half. And I remember that coach, that JV coach, the military guy, I don't think I've ever been laid into harder to this point in my life. Like, it was bad. I cried. Like, literally just fighting back tears in the locker room just because I'm getting just shit on constantly. And that was tough for me because like it's never happened before. But that was something, because he always preached thick skin. Didn't understand it at the time, but that was something that really stuck to me. It was like, okay, like no matter what happens, like somebody's gonna probably yell at you for it, but you gotta get through it. Like nobody cares at this point, so you just gotta keep pushing. And that was like a big moment for me on JV.
Okay. How successful were you guys? Did you guys win a lot of games, or did you? I don't know if they had like JV playoffs or championships at that point.
So
if you remember, I don't know.
So yeah, we won. I think we won a lot of games. We won a good amount of games. I think we were like one game away from playing in the county championship because they don't have like playoffs. It's like the top 2 teams play the championship. So I think we were one game away from that. But yeah, I think we won a pretty good amount of games.
At this time, do you know any of your peers as far as any other school, or you just kind of just know your core and who you're around? Like, did you know any other players from other schools, or
all my friends went to Lansdown?
All your friends at Lansdown?
Either Lansdown or private school. So
okay.
Yeah,
and which were your brother's friends, and that's something that you made too? Yeah,
there was all Gibbons. Most of my friends were either Lansdown or Gibbons.
Okay.
Like I knew a few kids at Catonsville. And that was like our rival school, but other than that, no, I probably didn't know a soul.
Yeah, that's right there too. So you're kind of probably close in proximity neighborhood wise. So, do you play baseball that season for them too?
Yep.
And which sport do you think you had more success in as a 9th grader coming in?
Baseball.
Baseball for sure.
1000%.
So you was nice at baseball then?
I was better at baseball for a long time.
Until a certain point.
Yeah, for a long time I was much better at baseball.
And do we really? I'll ask that later. I'll ask that because we never really probably got the answer to that question. Going to that summer, did you play travel ball? Did you play AAU at all?
No,
not at all.
Nope. I played rec, and when I tell people like now, I play basketball outside every single day. I probably at least shot a basketball like consistently every day for probably from like maybe that freshman year up till I graduated college, every single day. So like those times when I was in high school, I played basketball outside every day in the summer, no matter what.
Playing outside at an early age, especially 9th grade, 10th grade, that an important time, you kind of develop way more game going out there playing outside on that pavement with a variant of ages. Because you're not just playing with a bunch of high school kids who are going to make foolish mistakes at certain points. You learn certain nuances and certain things from the old heads that might be out here.
Absolutely.
That you might be more athletic than, but you can never beat them. Like,
sure.
And these are lessons that you learn. So Do you feel like you benefited more from that, or do you? Obviously, I don't even need to ask you that because I always say, like, do you feel like you benefited more from that, or do you think you needed a trainer? Because all these kids are getting trainers now, and going inside the gyms and all that. Do you feel like you gained a lot from just that summer?
So much more. Like, I never had a trainer growing up. Like, never like worked out with anybody. Like, I never did stuff like that. It was just I played ball. Like, I played games outside all day, and I think that helped me more so like skill wise, but mentally. Like, that put me on a whole nother level. Like you said, playing with older guys and playing with, like, old heads who you can't beat and you can't realize why. It's like you sit out there, because if you lose, you're sitting for a while, and you just get to watch. So I think I learned a lot from that. A lot.
As a ninth grader, coming in the 10th.
Yeah.
That summer, I didn't even ask you none of this or anything like that, but you said your brother was kind of taller. Were you taller as well? Like a kind of considered taller at that time too?
No, so
Did
I
you
was like,
grow it all during that time?
So yeah, I grew a good amount my freshman and sophomore year.
Going into sophomore.
Going into sophomore year, I grew a little bit. I was probably like 5'9", maybe 5'10". Like, so I was around there. Yeah.
No, that's good. And coming into 10th grade, you come back after that summer, man, and you go to this because you didn't play football at all, so you're getting around, you get ready for basketball. No AAU in between, just straight raw basketball. Yeah. So you get back to the season, and did you go to JV trials, or did you just already know that you was ready to go to play varsity and you just went there?
So, like, we all tried the same day, same court, all that.
Oh, all that, okay.
Yeah, so funny enough, it was, I wanted to play JV. Like, me, I didn't think I was ready for varsity. And then, because we had a good team, and then I knew Brent was ahead of me, and like we played the same position, so I was like, I don't want to really go and sit on the bench. So I told the varsity coach. He asked me if I wanted to play. I said no. He's like, I'd rather play JV. And then, like, he kind of talked to me a little bit, and then I was like, and then he basically brought up the fact that my brother was a senior at this point, so he was like, you get to play, like, this is the last chance you get to play with your brother. And then I was like, all right, whatever, like, I'll do it.
So
yeah,
I was sold. Yeah, you'd have me right there.
And that's all it took. So then I was on varsity.
Oh, that's dope, man. Getting to play with your brother, man, and go through that senior experience with him.